Hey guys, welcome back to my office and welcome to day 5, the final day of our 5-day prayer challenge. First off, I do want to let you know something. I do not wear the same outfit every single day. I know somebody out here has noticed this, that I'm in the same clothes for all 5 of these videos. If you've noticed that, that is because it's true. I did shoot all of these on the same day. So for those of you that are that observant, well done, you got me. I just want to admit that on the front end. Today we're going to talk about our 5th and final principle of prayer, and that is remembering our dependency on God. The final thing Jesus teaches us to pray in this prayer is, and do not bring us into temptation. That's about remembering our dependency on God. Now, in a general sense, the entire discipline of prayer is it's rooted in the idea that we're dependent on God. The whole reason that we pray is because really what we're doing is we're admitting that we can't bear the weight of our own lives by ourselves. And so we're calling out to God and we're remembering how much we need Him. But in a very specific sense, what Jesus is teaching us when He teaches us to ask God not to bring us into temptation, this is Jesus teaching us to remind ourselves that we are incapable of fighting our ongoing battle with sin by ourselves. And one thing that really stood out to me as I studied this prayer is how general the request is that Jesus is making here. He's teaching us to ask God, don't bring me into any form of temptation. And so what we're doing as we pray this is we're reminding ourselves with a lot of humility that there's no temptation that is beneath me. There's no temptation that could not derail me, that could not ensnare me, given the right set of circumstances. And it's such an important thing for us to remember because this is what keeps us from looking down our nose at people who have been caught up in things and fallen into temptations that we haven't, only by God's grace. And so it's about remembering how much we need God to make us the people that He's called us to be. And in remembering that, finding real rest, that our lives are safe in His hands. And so as you remember this 5th and final principle, I would just encourage you to talk to God and get really honest with Him about how much you truly need Him. Maybe you've already fallen into a temptation. Maybe you're wrestling with something that you haven't talked to anybody else about. Today would be an amazing opportunity for you to get painfully transparent before God about the temptation that you've fallen into. And then in being honest about that, to ask Him to give you the strength, whether that's Him personally or through other people, to lead you back out of that temptation where you don't want to be. And in remembering how much you depend on God, to find real rest, handing your life over to Him. And so you can also ask God to reveal to you all the areas of your life where you're still vying for control, where God is calling you to simply trust Him, knowing that your life is so much safer in His hands than yours. So this was the 5 principles of prayer. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that this has been a really life-giving experience for you like it has for me. One thing that I've noticed as I've studied prayer is that it's a discipline that's gone largely unused in my life, but it's a resource that God has given us that's really meant to deepen our relationship with Him, which ultimately gives us the life change that everybody's after. So have a great week. I'll see you Sunday. We're going to talk about our 3rd discipline, which is giving. Be there and bring somebody you care about.